May the 19th, spiders and caterpillars. There are in the region of 650 different spiders in Britain, with many so small and similar that it often precludes any accurate field identification. However, when you see a spider, you should make a note of its size, colour, and the length of its legs, the shape of its abdomen, its eye pattern, and if it has a web or not, and what the web looks like. These characters can help you decide which family of spiders it may belong to. As there are over 20 different families in London, with some just having one or two representative, this makes the possibility of a more accurate field identification more likely. As spring is when most spiders hatch, it is a good month to find wolf, crab, running crab, ground, tubeweb, sackweb, and meshweb spiders. Wolf spiders belong to the family Lycaeidae. They tend to be the large, agile, robust spiders we often see in our homes. When looked at closely, they have 6 rather than the usual 8 eyes of other spiders. 4 small eyes are usually found at the front, with 2 larger, more noticeable eyes behind them. Small, active, ground-living Pardosa species are typical. For example, Pardosa lugubris, which can be so numerous in woods they can sometimes be heard running across the leaf litter. Alopecosa pulverulenta is a larger example and is our nearest contender in London to be called a tarantula. A tarantula is not an actual species, but is the name generally used to describe large, dangerous-looking tropical spiders. The name was given to a wolf spider, Lycosa tarantula, found near Taranto in Italy. It was believed that if you were bitten by this spider, you entered a state of deep melancholy that could only be cured by excessive dancing. The dance became known as the tarantella. Although small, 10 mm, our tarantula, which is usually dark brown with a band across its back, is still impressive. It can be found on bare open ground on Hampstead Heath. Crab or flower spiders belong to the family Thomisidae. They are hunting spiders with no webs, preferring to wait patiently in flowers, using a combination of camouflage and ambush to catch their prey. When we first notice them in a flower, they tend to open their large crab-like legs as if to attack before scuttling away sideways again like a crab. Generally, they tend to be more colourful and slower than other spiders, but have a powerful bite, sometimes quite capable of paralysing a butterfly or bee almost instantly. One common small brown species found in gardens is Isticus cristatus. The male is known to spend up to an hour tying down the females securely in silk before mating with her. This is believed to just prevent her from eating him. Running crab spiders are in a different family, Philodromidae. They are often brown or black with flatter slimmer bodies and legs of unequal length. The males of one species, Philodromus aureolus, occasionally get noticed in bushes and trees due to their purple and green iridescence. Tibellus oblongus is another striking creamy brown species. It has a dark stripe down its back and is sometimes seen stretched out lengthways on grass blades. As their name suggests, running crab spiders are fast-moving and often even avoid capture by humans. There are many species of ground spiders, Gnaphosidae. They are often greyish-brown or black, sturdy-looking spiders with pointed abdomens and tiny pearly eyes. They hunt at night and tend to spend their days in silken cells under stones, which is where we often find them. The mouse spider, Drasodes lapidosus, is one example, so called because of the colour of its abdomen. It is one of the largest spiders you are likely to encounter in London, the females sometimes reaching 2 centimetres in length. It is best to leave well alone if discovered under a stone, guarding its egg sac in its silken cell. Other families this month may be identified by their webs, for example the tubeweb spiders, Segestridae. Their webs are tube-shaped, with the spider usually remaining well hidden at the far end of the tube. At its entrance there are some radiating lines of silk, which may be attached to the spider's legs. At any movement of these fishing line threads can result in the dramatic appearance of what seems like far too large a spider for the tube ever to accommodate. The green-fanged tubeweb spider, Segestria florentina, is likely to be the most impressive we ever come across. It is black with metallic green fangs. Females can reach 22 mm in length and can inflict a bite which remains painful for a few hours. Segestria senoculata, the snakebat spider, is much more likely to be seen. Its webs are constructed in crevices in walls and among rocks. If the radiating threads are touched with the tip of a grass blade, this spider is often easily coaxed out, revealing its snake-like markings. Two other families that may be identified by their webs are the sac-web spiders, Clubionoidea, and the meshweb spiders, Dictinidae. The sac-web spiders are often brown, medium-sized with no marking, but rows of tiny pearly eyes. Their webs are sac-shaped, but in this case, the sac is suspended in foliage, often near the ends of branches. Clubiona corticalis is one common example found on heaths, marshes, underbar, and even around houses. It is easier than most to identify, being a reddish-brown with a distinctive chevron markings on its yellow-brown abdomen. The male also has noticeably large bulbous palps. Mesh webs are more like the disorganized tangle of silk you tend to see in horror films. Meshweb spiders, Dictinidae, build smaller versions among the upper branches of dead vegetation and support them with guy ropes. The common meshweaver, Dictina arundinacea, is probably the most likely to be seen in among the branches of gorse bushes and perhaps heather. It is only 3 millimeters, but helpfully it is partially covered in coarse white hairs. Caterpillars. In May, caterpillars start to be noticed more. It may be just seeing birds collecting them to feed their young, or just turning over leaves that you notice they've been partially eaten. Generally, those found tend to be small moth caterpillars that are probably recently hatched. Any larger caterpillar seen could well be from eggs that hatched last year and then hibernated through the winter and commenced eating again in the spring. The traditional way to find caterpillars was to beat or rather tap foliage and then collect what fell off into a white tray or even an upturned umbrella. It is also useful to sweep with a net native trees, shrubs, herbs and grasses, particularly those that are known food plants of the particular butterfly or moth. Sometimes they are more easily noticed if they coexist in silken tents or perhaps just spin leaves together prior to pupating. Blacky moth caterpillars may well have spent the winter in silken tents, and on warm days in May, they are sometimes seen on the outside of the tent basking in the sun. They are large, 45 millimeters caterpillars with greyish-blue bodies, with white, black and orange-red lines, all covered in reddish-brown hairs. A larger caterpillar that takes a bit of fining is the drinker, 75 millimeters. It is famous for its habit of taking a drink from dewdrops. Although now rare, it may still be worth looking on its favourite food plant, cocksfoot, in places such as Dartford marshes. Its caterpillars are similar, having orange-red lines and reddish-brown hairs, but it also has a distinct erect tuft of black hairs on its back. A caterpillar getting more common in gardens is that of the brightly coloured garden tiger moth. Its larvae, 60 millimeters, is one of the woolly bear caterpillars, thickly covered, in this case, with long black hairs tipped in grey. It is best not to touch hairy caterpillars, as their hairs can often cause skin rashes. For sheer size and excitement, the most impressive caterpillar you are ever likely to encounter in London is that of the goat moth. It can reach an astonishing 10 centimeters in length. It is purplish-red with orange sides, a shiny black head, and has a distinct smell of goats. Like a number of other caterpillars, we tend not to see it, as when it hatches from an egg, it bores straight into wood. It feeds on the heartwood of oak, ash and poplar trees, and does so for as long as 4 years, gradually increasing in size before pupating. We only really ever get a chance to see it when old wood is accidentally split or broken up in some way. It is still a little early for most of our butterfly larvae. Fritillary caterpillars are always worth looking for on violet, in places such as Chapel Bank. Skippers, gatekeepers, ringlets and even marble white caterpillars will be feeding on coarse grasses in places such as Riddlesdown. In oak woodland, for example Wimbledon Common, purple hair streak caterpillars will be feeding on oak leaves, and on Denby's hillside, chalk hill blue caterpillars on bird's foot trefoil.